Hey guys, thanks for clicking on this video. The channel is Mr. Articulate, and on this channel I post a YouTube video every night of about 5 minutes in length, where my main goal in recording the video is to speak as fluently as I can and to avoid using filler words like or filler phrases like you know. So, the topic for my video today is going to be what the development of skills by babies and toddlers can teach us as adults as we try to develop our own skills. So, I feel that right shortly before the birth of my first child, my little daughter, I had a series of really strong prayer sessions with God where I was asking Him to help me to grow in a lot of ways, many of which I felt were areas where I needed to grow in order to actually be an adequate father. I wanted to grow in my responsibility and my sense of duty and caretaking in a lot of ways. And I also had some prayers for self improvement in other areas of my life. For one, in the workplace, different things that I felt I was lacking in my work that I wanted to develop, and probably some other more personal things as well. And I was making these prayers when my wife was 6 or 7 months pregnant, say. And around that time, I heard something about the development of skills in babies that I found very interesting. And I wanted to observe, once my daughter was born, how true it was of her. The thing I heard was that as you watch your baby learn little things like how to roll over for the first time, how to crawl, how to make some sort of consonant noise, not just but something with a consonant in there, da da da, or what have you. And you could go on, picking up food on the high chair tray and eating these things. You'll see over and over that your baby will achieve some new milestone that you've been waiting for them to achieve. And you'll be so excited because, wow, look, they're rolling over, or what have you. And after a couple of days of using that new skill, they'll suddenly stop using it. And the skill will go into hibernation, and you'll wonder what happened. Have they forgotten how to get a D sound in front of the A sound? Have they forgotten how to babble at all? And what it is the strategy that our minds use when we are babies is to work on a skill, and once that skill has been attained, to put it on the back burner and start working on new skills instead. So instead of continuing to use the newest baby skill or toddler skill that my daughter has learned, she gets it, and then she just puts it in her back pocket, and it's gone for weeks because she's moved on to develop new things. And clearly, the reason babies and toddlers do this almost universally is that it is the most expeditious way to go from where they start in life to where they will be by the time they're 3 or 4. A 3-year-old is a miracle of skillfulness compared to a baby. We're talking literally hundreds of things that a 3-year-old can do adroitly that an infant couldn't even, is not even in the correct galaxy to try to do. And so, how does a human do that? How do they become these miracles of skillfulness in 3 years? Obviously, when we are very little, we are very good at this. And part of the strategy that's used is learn a skill, put it in your back pocket. And a baby or a toddler doesn't panic that they have figured out how to say a consonant or figured out how to crawl, and then after a few days they kind of stop doing it. That doesn't worry them. Whereas, and so that with that setup, all established. What I will say is, when I read that a few months before my daughter was born, and I knew that I had so much adult development that I wanted to do, I told myself, my daughter and I, we are going to grow together. She's going to be on a journey unlike any other to add new skills to her repertoire over the next few years, and I'm going on that journey with her for myself. I'm going to add a bunch of new skills to my repertoire as a grown up in these same years. And maybe part of it for me will be, I will show flashes of new skill or new aptitudes, and then they'll go away. And I won't I won't hang my head and say, okay, so that wasn't an authentic new development in me. I was just white knuckling it for a week or two, but it didn't put down any roots in me. I won't say that. I'll say, hey, if this works for babies and toddlers, it can work for me too. New thing, and I've got it. It's going well for a couple weeks, and then I just lose it for months maybe. That's okay. It's going to come back around. And I will just tell you that a year and a half into fatherhood, that has really borne out for me so much. First of all, it's borne out for my daughter. So I've had a front row seat and been able to watch her time after time after time flash some new skill that we get really excited about, and then it just disappears for weeks. And right from the beginning, I've known not to worry about that because I read about it before she was born. But boy, has it proven true for her, and it's proving true for me too. So uh, I will give as an example. This is not a very practical skill, but I have wanted for a long time to be someone who can listen with appreciation to classical music. I love popular music, 20th and 21st first century popular music on record, and in terms of older art forms, I love old high culture painting and sculpture, high culture poetry and novels. And so to love a lot of old high culture stuff and to love contemporary popular music, it's just this gaping hole for me that my whole life I've never liked old high culture music. So it's been a journey I've been on and off for a long time to appreciate classical music, and I've made a bunch of great strides with that since my daughter was born. But I very much like, I'll hear the music, I'll hear something in the music I've never heard before. I'll be listening to a Brahms piece, and suddenly I'll feel like I'm inside of it instead of being stuck on the outside, and it's great. But then after a week or two, I'm back on the outside. And if I didn't know this little principle of infant behavioral development, when I get ejected and I'm back outside of Brahms again, if I didn't know the principle, I would probably be like, okay, yeah, whatever little trick I was doing there, it wasn't something that had sprouted deep roots in the structures of my mind. It was just some unsustainable trick I was doing, and you can't be performing a trick every time you listen to music your whole life. That's not how life works. You either listen to music and you get it long term, or you don't. You don't be like, well, for the next 30 years, every time I put on classical music, I'll just perform this cognitive trick to appreciate it. But I've known, don't worry about it. You flashed a new skill, now it's in your back pocket. And if you keep the faith, you'll find that that flash will come back around months from now. And when it does, it might not be the whole flash you had, it might only be half, but what does resurface in the end will become a permanent part of your cognitive structure. And boy, has that worked for me with my music appreciation. It's worked for me in the workplace where have I have weeks that go well in a specific way that work has never gone well for me before, and then I lose it. But in the past, I might have been like, this is that phenomenon where at the start of each new school year as kids, a lot of us would say, we're going to do X, Y, and Z in fifth grade, homework wise, that we didn't do in fourth grade. And you do it for a couple weeks, and then you lose your motivation and you're back to bad habits. So in the past, if I had a good week at work in a new way and then I fell apart, I would have called it that fifth grade phenomenon. But instead, I kept the faith. I don't know when this is going to come back. I'm probably going to be waiting a long time, but it will. And when it does, even if it's in a more diminished form, it will become a part of me. And that's happened for me at work. It's happened to me domestically. I have weeks where I do great with just being responsible in my house, and then longer periods where I seem to lose my gains, but the gains come back. So that's it for today. I've spoken completely about myself here, but the real point of this video is look into what I'm talking about with infant and toddler development. If you've had a child yourself, you might remember that it went this way. But if you have a child in the future and you go into it remembering this principle, you will see over and over your child learn something and then seem to forget it, and then only for it to come back a few weeks later in a more stable form. And what I want to tell you, if you are someone who is ambitious to grow as a person, if you have a self-improving temperament, what is good for babies and toddlers is good for us too, but they do it instinctively. They learn a thing, they put it in the back pocket, they take it out at a later date. You can do it too, but if you seem to learn something and then you lose it, don't despair. It did not get thrown out in the trash and hauled off to the dump. It is in your back pocket, but you won't instinctively take it back out. Or let me amend that. You will instinctively take it back out if you have faith that it's still there. If you assume it's gone, it's not coming back. If you tell yourself with belief, and with good reason to believe, because this is absolutely true, that it's still in you and you don't get vexed about it, it'll come back. And you will see that your road toward improvement in whatever areas of your life that you're working on will be sped up in this way. All right, if you stuck around to the end, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. I will be back tomorrow with another video, and in the meantime, I hope you have a great rest of your day or night.